Hey guys, what is up? So I am deciding to do a live so I don't have to like cut it, so I can just like record for as long as I need to speak and then share it. So what I want to share is I want to talk a little bit about my journey that I've been on this whole year, because I haven't really talked about it. And yesterday I attended a beautiful event for Winter Solstice, which was like really amazing, because it was sharing with so many people, so much great energy, and it was just a confirmation of everything that's been happening to me this year, and realizing I'm not crazy with the energies I've been experiencing. So I want to talk a little bit about my journey that I've been on this whole year, because it's been pretty amazing and incredible, and it's been a huge year of massive transformation. And I know that a lot of us collectively also have been experiencing so many changes, and there's so much more to come. So this year has been a year of a lot of healing, a lot of transformation for me. Hey guys. So I got divorced about a year ago. It separated in November, officially a year, and like legally divorced in January. And I was living in Michigan for the last 5 years, and then I moved back to Florida. And so for the last 5 years, I was in a marriage that was very intense, and it was I recognize now that it's a huge initiation for the path that I'm on now, but it's what you would call a classic narcissistic case. And so I was in a place where I really lost all of who I knew myself to be. Like, my ability to think for myself, my confidence was shot. Just all of my chakras were really attacked. And what I'm learning is that through this journey too, is that from a spiritual perspective, from an interdimensional perspective, what happens is a lot of narcissists, because they have a lot of trauma that's not healed, and then if they've have drank in the past or done things like drugs, like their field gets open, so they have a lot of entities on them. And then the reason why, from a human perspective, narcissists tend to attract what they call like empaths, is because they have entities attached to them that usually will attack like light workers or light leaders to get them off path and make sure that they don't get into their highest timelines. So in this journey that I was on, I'm learning so much. So I was in this marriage for a long time, and I literally had to completely shut down all of my spiritual aspects, my spiritual gifts. I've been really connecting since I was a kid. And so going into this experience that I chose was very, I really had to like lower my frequency a lot. So I was always kind of in this like stress mode, because it was like, it's a very controlling environment of constantly being told what to do, how to think. There's so much like psychological dark arts that are done on you. So just to say the least, I've like had really fragmented through that journey and really shut off a lot of my feeling senses. So around 2019, I was already getting really sick. I was getting all these like terrible migraines. I had like no life force energy. I was kind of just like in this robotic state, like kind of just surviving. I was kind of like, ooh, in this zombie mode. And until one day I remember laying in bed, and I just hear spirit, and it's like, you need to leave, because if you don't leave, your life mission is gonna pass you by. And I was just like, holy shit. And for me, my life mission since I was a kid, even not knowing what that looks like, I've always felt that I had a mission, that I came here for a specific purpose. I was like, oh shit, if my life mission passes me by, that means I'm gonna die. Because for me, my life mission, my connection to source, my connection to God, is my connection to life. It's how, I'm the reason to live. So anyway, so I share that with you just because I want to share a little bit about the journey that I've been on this in this whole past year. So in 2019, at the end of it, that was kind of like the wake-up call where I finally had to face what I've been feeling, what I didn't want to deal with. And finally, I had to wait. And in 2020, we got separated. We started the separation process at the end of 2020. And since then, Spirit started taking me, telling me, oh, you got to focus on embodiment, sacred sexuality. So I started doing that at the beginning of the year. And long story short, all of these things started to lead me to eventually have my Kundalini Awakening. And since my Kundalini Awakening, wow, it's been incredible, because not only have I been in like this healing container for this last year. Hey Jillian, how are you, my love? I've been in this like super healing container, literally, of just purging out of all these programs that were implanted in me, really fixing all of my chakras, because like my ability to cognitively think, like I'm a really highly intelligent being, and my ability to think was completely cut off, because that's like what you're in a narcissist relationship. It's all about making sure you can't think for yourself, that you can't trust yourself, that you can't hear your own inner voice. So like a lot of my connection with my higher self was severed, which for me, I understand now why my soul chose that, because since I was a kid, I've always been connected to my higher self. So I needed to have the experience of disconnection, so I know what it's like to be disconnected and then get reconnected, right? Because then I can't understand that frequency, and then it'll be hard for me to be able to explain it and teach others and help others, because for me, my soul is all about learning the energetics and the mechanics of things. So my soul is very experiential, in order for me to like translate a lot of these energy things into very basic and applicable everyday things. So that has been a really hell of a journey, to really be disconnected from my higher self and trusting myself. You know, now I'm doing more videos and I'm speaking more, and I'm still getting there because there's still fragments that I'm collecting. But through this Kundalini Awakening, I've been on like this quantum healing. It's like I've been healing what would take years to heal in a very, very short amount of time. And through that, I'm learning so much, because through my Kundalini Awakening, then I've had galactic encounters. I have now like these light language activations that started happening through my Kundalini Awakening, and realizing that now like I bring in these galactic frequencies through my voice that help the technology of the body. So through that, I've also like working with people's like Kundalinis activations, which for a while it's taken me to own this. And last night when I went to this event, the Winter Solstice, like I just couldn't deny it anymore, because it was like I started activating the space, and I activated a woman next to me. My light language just started coming out, because sometimes when I'm in like really spiritual energies, the energy just starts to come out because it needs to activate the space. And it was really beautiful, and it's just it's really a lot of amazing things that are happening. And not just to me, this is stuff that's happening to so many of us, because it's where New Earth is going. You know, we're really starting to upgrade our DNA. We're really starting to shift. And then even yesterday I've been meeting a lot of like soul families and new like New Earth light leaders, who are also getting a lot of similar downloads, and who also have like these gifts. Like I met this beautiful woman yesterday who she's a telekinesis. She works with autistic kids, and she can communicate with them telepathically. Like she has and how it happened is one of her kids had got autism through like vaccines when he was little, and he lost his ability to speak, and which ended up being a blessing in disguise, because through him going through that, which, you know, we all have contracts and initiations, but him doing that was part of her initiation that activated her telekinesis. Because one night he was in the bed and she was in her room, and he needed to go to the bathroom, but he doesn't speak, and she heard him in her mind very clearly, like, "Mommy, I need to go to the potty." And she was like, "What?" And so she went to the room, and he was sitting up on the bed and like needing to go to the bathroom. And then she started to discover this gift, and now one of her gifts is that she's able to communicate telepathically with kids who have autism or on the spectrum. And so she's bringing in these whole new codes of how to work with these children from a vibrational space, and this is part of New Earth, right? So it's just really powerful, because I'm meeting so many beings who are on this new mission of really, as the old paradigm starts to fall away, we're preparing for this new earth that's being created. And there's a lot of light leaders who are being activated, a lot of people getting downloads, a lot of people having the massive awakening. So it was just really beautiful to see that, because I've been seeing more and more of it. I've been meeting so many incredible people that are actually doing things that are not like in this new age fluffy stuff, like that are really connected And it's just incredible. So I'm just so grateful, and I decided, I'm like, you know what, let me get in here, do a live, because I am practicing to show up more, and I want to share the things that I'm learning, because it's really powerful, you know. And with the Kundalini, what I'm learning, you know, it's just like, we have to understand that we live in the matrix system that has been designed purposely to make sure that you do not ascend, that you don't raise your life force energy, because the system that's run by interdimensional beings and entities, they literally loosh off, they siphon your life force energy. It's all about emotions, and it starts with our sexual energy, because our sexual energy, our Kundalini, our Shakti, our life force energy, which is that pure creative sexual energy that creates worlds, right? That births life. That is the energy that gets distorted, that gets siphoned from the moment we enter this reality. That's why there's so much distortion around sex. There's so much oppression when it comes to women and how the patriarch system was created. Everything was done on purpose, but it's to siphon this life force energy. Because sexual energy, which is just your life force energy, is the most powerful energy in the universe. It's the divine mother. It's the energy of creation, destruction, birth, healing. It's everything. And this is what gets distorted, because it's actually a very pure, innocent energy, which is like why, if you're really aware of what's going on, you would understand what's happening with the children, and why is there so much pedophilia and so much human trafficking and all this distortion around sex. And it's because that's the energy that is being siphoned. And what they're attacking is, they are attacking your purity, they're attacking your innocence. And that's why there's such distortion. And then the mother consciousness, the divine mother, which is the energy I work with, is what went underground, right? Because we look at our world. Why is the world the way that it is? Because we're missing the mother, right? When you think of God, you always think of the male, but we're missing the mother component of it. That's why there's a huge mother wound in the collective, both on an individual and collective level. But she's rising. That consciousness is coming back. And, you know, this is a lot of the things that I'm learning through my own journey with the Kundalini and working with this divine mother energy as I'm healing, because I'm still in the healing process. I'm still collecting fragments. It's a very intense process that you have to have deep level of surrender around. But when I experience this energy, or when I've been hosting these small, intimate, what I call temples. That is when I go into full channel mode, and I'm able to bring in this divine mother energy, like all the frequencies of the divine feminine. And people go through massive healing journeys, and they're able to really go through their shadows and their pain and their trauma, but they all say the same thing. They're able to feel the divine mother energy and being enveloped in this love, even through going through their pain, through their darkness. And it's so beautiful. And this is what the world needs, right? We are in such need of like nurturing, of love, of that compassion, and to release all these traumas from the system so that we can get back to our power, our sovereignty. And I've been learning a lot through my journey about the technology of the body. So your body is everything, guys. Like, that's why there's such an attack on our bodies. Our body is a temple, because it's literally like a computer. Each of your systems, your meridians, your chakras, they're all portals, they're all dimensions. And the reason that you don't have access to your higher self fully, which from a human term, when we talk about psychology, that they say that 90% of your conscious mind is unconscious, right? Subconscious, you can't access it because everything is in the subconscious. From a multidimensional perspective, that's because you actually don't have access to your higher self. You only have a small percentage, like 10%, because that's all that can actually pour into your body. Of course, this isn't the case for everybody, because people now are at a different stage of development, but overall, the majority of humanity has too much density in the body, too much trauma. So when I've tapped into those really high frequencies, they're so high that the body, when it's full of trauma or density, it can't sustain. You can't, those energies can't live in the body like that. So that's why we have to go through this like purification process. And I realized, like, one day I did a temple recently in Mexico with 9 people. It was my first like more semi-bigger temple. Anyway, somebody was smoking outside, and I was in like channel mode, and that never happens. And that was like a lesson, like you can't not do that, especially in the temple. But anyways, the point that happened, it was really interesting, because as soon as the cigarettes hit me, okay, that was weird. I said my phone overheated. That's what I get for doing alive in the car. But so yeah, my phone overheated, guys. And so I don't know, so I recorded some of that. I think I'm gonna try to save it. But yeah, so the whole point of this video was to share, hey guys, to share more of the journey and what I've been learning about you know, the experience that I've been going through with this this healing journey, because the Kundalini is a very healing, intense journey. And it was really crazy because not crazy, really beautiful too, because 3 days ago I had a client who I went to the Winter Solstice event with. She flew in from LA to go to this event, and part of our contract was that she was able to come to my house, because she's coaching with me, to have like a 3-day weekend with me. So since she was already coming, I was like, oh perfect, let's have our weekend. And so we ended up doing one of like my temple ceremonies with her, and it was really beautiful because not only was her Kundalini activated that night, she also was able to go in through a lot of her darkness and like realize that she actually had this self-hate within herself that she didn't know, because she would go to readers and readers would be like, oh, you need to love yourself more. And she's like, I don't understand. I love myself. I'm doing affirmations. I'm doing these things. But she didn't understand. And this is a thing, because when we're not, like, we don't have deeper awareness, and because we're so like fragmented, disassociated, we're so desensitized, it's hard sometimes to tap into those aspects. So during our ceremony, because what the Divine Mother, the Shakti, the Divine Feminine, because you go from the primal, right, which all of our trauma is like stuck in the lower chakras, our earth self chakras, which is like the root, the sacral, and the solar is where we have the most trauma, and that's the ones that we need to clear out. And that's where, in the root chakra, is where the programming from the matrix gets implanted in the moment that we enter this reality. The like program, which is what we would call the ego, the personality, but all the programs get inserted into the root chakra in the moment that we enter this reality. And then we get bombarded by all these frequencies through the things we watch, through religion, all the infiltration, right? Because we're literally, if you think about it, I'm kind of going off topic here, but I'm going to circle back to her journey, is that what I've been learning and realizing and experiencing, and when I'm like channeling these things, is literally we've been raped. Like each of us, like even the people that don't think you have trauma, you have trauma, because we live in a system that has raped us of our life force energy. And like I was talking about earlier in the earlier live before it cut off, is that what they're after is your life force energy, your sexual energy, and that's what's been distorted. And that's why we have so much trauma and so much shame in so many areas, and we're so devoid of like the heart space, of really feeling safe to feel, safe to open up, safe. We have so much issues with intimacy, right? So we have so much armoring in the body. So like everything that I went through in my marriage was something that my soul chose, because it's allowing me to now understand really what it has been happening to us on a collective level within the matrix. And it's helping me understand the technology of the body. So I pretty much had to like completely dismantle myself and completely fragment, and as I'm putting myself back together so I can understand this entire process, which is really interesting. And that's really what our spiritual work is we constantly have to go through this like dismantling of ourselves and then putting ourselves back together, because we have to get rid of all these programs, like operating off all of this shit that isn't really who we are. There's so many things that we don't even realize, like I'm seeing on a visceral level, and I'm also working, I manifested one of my twins through this process, so we work spiritually really close together, and he's a beautiful galactic channeler, and I activated his Kundalini, and he's helped me like removing a lot of the trauma in my body, like through, he does these like acupressure channeling emotional releases, which is part of his mission with me for the Kundalini. And I didn't realize, like, shit, we have so much armoring. Like, they've had to de-armor my heart space, because being in my marriage, I had to leave my heart space, because because it just didn't feel safe. So I have all this armor, which means that I can't feel, and I'm such a deep feeler. That's one of my greatest gifts. Like, I'm a master in energy, but I had to completely fragment. And that's what happens to so many of us, because we're literally sensitive beings. Think about little children, right? They're so sensitive. We are like literally that's why we have a body. It's a whole sensory experience. But again, because of the trauma, because of the density of this world, that it's just like the frequencies just don't align with us. I think I was mentioning before I got cut off on the other live how when I was at a really high channeling in one of my temples and the cigarettes hit my body, like somebody was smoking and I smelled the cigarette while I was channeling. It was like, oh my God, I turned like into an animal. It was like, I smelled it really quick and I was like, oh my God, it hit me. And I was like, this is terrible. Like those frequencies, as soon as it hit my body when I was really high vibration, I was like, no wonder those cigarettes attack the body. Like, it's like such a rejection. It was really miraculous to have that experience. So that's why now, like, I never drank, but I can't drink, not even one cocktail, because all these things that the Matrix makes okay, that's kind of legal, it's done on purpose because they open you up to entities, and it's messing up with, again, the technology of your body. Where am I based? I live currently in Florida, so I am between Miami, a little more up north. Coffee, I still drink coffee, not as much. I've cut down. Like right now, I have a latte, a chai latte, and it's something though, like you'll start to see as your body starts to shift. You're gonna also shift out of a lot of foods, because the way I eat has shifted. Your body will start to naturally like get rid of certain things, just because the higher in frequency you go, you just see the certain vibrations, they're not a match. Like even yesterday when I went to the Winter Solstice, I ended up getting in channel mode because I got activated, and I was with my client, which I hadn't finished telling you guys the story, but we went to eat after at 12 because I was like, I had channeled so much energy, I was like starving, and we ordered like a vegan taco, and then I ordered these a shrimp taco, but I didn't know that they were fried. And as soon as I ate it, I was just like, ugh. I was like, I can't eat this because like it was fried. And now like once I've channeled and I've been in high frequencies and I eat something like super greasy, fried, it just like does not sit well with the system. So even that, like, because I'm learning when I'm channeling, like what my body, like sometimes my body doesn't want to eat, or if it eats, it's just very specific things like soups, fruits, like it asks me for certain things and then it rejects other things. So it's very interesting. But yeah, I wanted to share, I know I'm going all over the place, but I want to finish telling my client who came in from LA, who I went to the event with. She had a powerful ceremony, and in that she was facing her darkness, and she got to see how she actually hates herself. Like she had this hate relationship with her body, but she could never cognitive, like on a conscious level, discover that. And she was able to see that it comes from a trauma of when she was a child, something that happened with her mother, and her mother saying something to her about her, that then she internalized this self-hate towards herself. So it was really powerful. And of course, when she was going through it, nobody wants to go through these shadows. You don't want to feel into these pains, but we have to. I'm learning like the healing process is so huge. And she was held through the entire process, again, because it's such a safe space. And then after the ceremony, like the next day we also worked, and then yesterday we went to the Winter Solstice event. And I had told her, I was like, your Kundalini is now awakened, because I saw it working through her. And it was so cool because we went to the Winter Solstice and I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one. So my client, I was like, you're going to get activated because we're in a spiritual space. So we're the two there and we're like going into our shakes, and like she's laying down on the body and the energy is working through her because she's in the beginning stages of it. So it's starting to clear out trauma. And it was so beautiful, and people were just watching, but it was so beautiful to just see that she has this process now activated in her, because you cry, you purge, and it feels good, because if you surrender to the energy, it stretches your body and it starts to release like trauma. Like there's different stages to it. But anyways, I just thought that was so beautiful, which gave me the courage today to be like, you know what, let me get on live and at least share a little bit of what I've been going through, because I haven't really talked about it in depth. And that's part of because I am getting back my voice, and for me authenticity is like the most important thing. And I haven't, this whole year, it hasn't felt, even though I've kind of been showing up and kind of sharing videos, it hasn't felt 100% yet like authentic, coming from the heart. Like, yes, but that's because it's still my work, like, right? I'm still having so much healing and feeling safe to show up, because I used to do videos like back in 2009 in YouTube when I had my blog, and it was easier for me because I was always just speaking from the heart. It was like, okay, like this would happen. And for me, that's so important, because I never, like, it's just hard. It's a different energy when excuse me, when you're trying to force things like, what am I going to talk about today? Let me show up here. Like, I can't work really well in that energy. It just doesn't feel right. So for me, this coming year is very important. Like, I want to show up in my authenticity. I want to speak more from my heart. And so that's why today I was just like, you know what? I was like so inspired last night by what happened, and just realizing this journey that I'm on. It's like, I am not crazy, even though I've been dealing with that program this whole year of thinking I'm delusional, because that's one of the programs that was installed through my marriage, of like, that I'm crazy. But then I'm like, okay, no, so many miraculous things have happened, and so many people have witnessed it. And yeah, so I wanted to share with you guys because I'm just really excited about the future. You know, I know there's so much chaos in the world right now, and it seems like shit's falling apart, which it is, and it needs to, because we cannot continue to sustain ourselves the way that it is. And the children are so important, right? It's like, we have got to heal ourselves. We have to step into our purpose. We need to start to access our multidimensional self, so that we can give the future of these beautiful kids, like, let me see, hold on. How was the event yesterday? I really wanted to go. Oh my God, it was so good. It was really good. It was amazing. Like, I just enjoyed it, because I haven't really gone out or done anything like here in Florida in a group setting, because I'm not too connected with the spiritual community, because I feel like there's like so much fluff. But because my client was the one that had tickets for this, I didn't even know what it was, and then my spirit was like, you got to go to this, so I bought tickets. And then I remember the people who put on the event, I had watched one of their stuff, and I was like, oh shit, they're getting the same downloads that I've been getting these last 5 months that I've been working with the galactics. And I realized like they were really in tune with the actual frequencies of New Earth. So it was great. It was really cool. Where are you? Lion? Where are you that you were going to go yesterday and you couldn't go? Are you in Florida, or were you going to travel for it? But yeah, guys, so it's a little bit about what I wanted to share. Kind of, oh, you're in Myanmar. Oh, cool. Okay. So you're here in Florida. Yay. That's awesome. That is really cool. Yeah, the event was nice. I don't have it here. I took one of the crystals. Do I have one? Oh, I have one here. And then I have a pyramid. I had left it at the house. So they put a bunch of crystals yesterday. They did like a crystal grid, anchoring in with the energies, and then everybody got to take one home. So that was nice. But I really enjoyed the fact that I got to meet. I met a lot of beautiful women there, that I really connected with, a couple that are really doing really interesting things. Like I shared with you that one woman who's working with autistic kids, and she's telekinesis. So it's yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, so I hope that the other live saved. But yeah, guys, yeah, let's connect. Send me a DM. I would love to. I want to start doing things in Florida. I want to start doing more things in person. This is my new year. For next year's vision and goal for myself is I want to start doing more in-person retreats, events. I'm going to start doing my ceremonial temples, like traveling with it, and start doing that now for this new year, because I feel like we need access to this energy. We, like, as women, we need to start healing. We need to activate our divine feminine energy, our Kundalini, so that as we start to activate that, we're also going to be able to help men, because also we just need so much cleansing. We need to cleanse these lower chakras. We really do. It is your birthright to have access to this energy, and to start working with your higher self. It is like the most important thing, and I'm like super passionate about it. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing things this year here with my twin in Florida and other places. So if you send me a DM, we'll connect. It's really beautiful that you're so close by. So, but yeah, guys, whoever's on here still, if you guys have any questions or you want to share anything. Hey, Annie, what is up? Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm glad you guys